What's up, guys? Jason here with Timber Ninja Outdoors. I get a lot of questions. I see questions from guys on forums and Facebook groups asking questions about preparing for a out-of-state hunt. You know, they've never done it before. What should you carry if you're gonna be camping? And which things vary if you're staying in a campsite versus hotel or some type of lodge or something. But I'm starting to gear up. I'm leaving tomorrow to head to Ohio for 10 days. So thought it was a good time to kind of show what I do and maybe it could be helpful to someone. So it's a pretty simple system what I use. I normally have a camper on my truck. I just got a new truck that doesn't have a camper. I'm gonna be putting one on it, so I'm gonna be sleeping in a tent on this trip here. And so it's a pretty simple setup what I do. You know, obviously I have my bows. If I'm going for multiple days, I like to carry more than one bow. So my primary bow is my Tokyo Whip longbow, which I have a backup string in case the string breaks, but you know, something may happen. I may step on a limb, break a limb or something. So I want to have a backup bow. And so my backup bow is my Treadway longbow. It's a 54-inch longbow, and it's my backup. And essentially I've got both bows tuned to the same arrows. That way I don't have to carry different arrows. And I usually carry about anywhere from 8 to a dozen. And that way, you know, if I miss 8 times, I've got a problem. So I like to sort out all my stuff in dry bags, and I keep everything categorized by how I'm going to use it, what it is. So this bag here, I have my sleep systems. So essentially I have a 2-person MSR Hubba tent. I'm bringing my 0-degree bag on this trip because it's supposed to get down into the low 30s and I believe high 20s is the low. So a 0-degree bag will keep me pretty warm. And you know, if it ever gets colder than that, I can always add layers and sleep in layers too. But essentially in my sleep kit, I keep my keep my tent, I keep my blow up pad. I also keep my sleeping bag and a couple blow up pillows. And I also bring a tarp. I just put a tarp out in case it rains and don't want to be, you know, held up in a tent for multiple hours or even a day. I've done that. It's not a fun experience. So I like to get out and stretch my legs a little bit. So I always keep a tarp in there. And I keep all this stuff essentially loaded up in my truck for the most part all through hunting season. That way, you know, if it's after work or something, I can run out, or before work, I already got my stuff ready. Or if I need to make a quick trip on a weekend, I don't have to really break everything down. So I like to keep these dry bags because it's easy, you know, keep them dry and keep everything organized. My next bag I like to pack up is essentially some of my essentials. They're just extra gloves I keep in here, some extra bags, quiver, gaiters, my over boots that I like to wear when it gets really cold. I keep those in their separate bag. You know, obviously I'll be carrying my saddle. This year I'm using a TX5 saddle that Matt custom made for me on some things a little different, and he did a great job of putting this together for me and really enjoying this. So I have my saddle this year. I've been switching out between the saddle and lock on, really getting a better feel for a saddle. I spent more time in a saddle this year than I ever have, and just working on some tweaks and, you know, doing some testing and some prototype work on some other products. Next thing I have here, I have my food bag. So I have, on these trips, I don't like cooking. You know, if you're doing these all day sits like we'll be doing in Ohio, the last thing I want to do is come back and skin potatoes and start a campfire or stove and have to cook. So I do all dry, you know, dehydrated meals. I normally make all my meals, but I made a bunch for Alaska, and then another trip I did in Virginia, and had so much going on. I've just been lazy, to be honest. You know, been trying to assemble sticks and stay ahead of that. So I failed on making my own dehydrated meals. So this year I've been using a lot of the Peak Refuel stuff. And also I'll supplement, you know, my breakfast. I'll do a few days of the granola type mix. That way in the morning, all I got to do is throw some cold water in there and let it mix up, and I can actually eat that in the truck on the way to wherever we're going to be hunting that day. I quit drinking coffee this year, so I don't have a reason to heat up any water in the morning. So it's really quick using those little granola meals. But I also will supplement with a bar or something like that. You know, I use the Pro bars, Green Belly bars, and then Cliff bars. I just mix those in, and they'll work as my sometimes my breakfast, snacks, and my lunch. And also I did have the time to make up about 5 1-pound sticks of venison summer sausage, so I'll supplement that in there as well. And I keep my cook system's pretty minimalist. I use just a pocket rocket and a pot, and I use the longer spork. Works out really well for me. So really easy, simple stove setup there. It's what I use on all my backpack hunts. I really like it. Also, I always keep my water filter in there. We're gonna be staying at a campground this time, so I don't have to really pull water out of the creek. We have water spigots there to use. I usually carry a couple fuel containers. I like to carry a 6-liter MSR Dramamine bag. I don't really care much about having the big plastic totes. It takes up more room in my truck. So I just always like to use these, and they've worked out really well for me. That's what I use on my backcountry trips as well. I always like to bring a little extra light, kind of a stationary lantern type thing to have some light around the camp where I'm not having to burn up my headlamp. And so yeah, that's it on the food kit. I'm only bringing 1 pair of boots on this trip since I'll be multiple days in the mountains. I like to use a stiffer boot. I found over the years that the stiffer boot helps with foot fatigue for a long duration. I'll have my binos with me. I always have binos and a rangefinder, although I don't really use the rangefinder as much anymore since I started shooting traditional bows. And then I have in this bag, actually that's my tarp, so I have my tarp in this bag by itself. But it keeps everything organized, keeps it minimalist when packing. I also like to bring a camp chair with me. I like the Crazy Creeks. I can set it up on my tailgate. I can set it up at a picnic table on a log, or just sit on the ground. Actually, if I think I'm gonna be hunting from the ground, I'll carry this with me and use it in the field as well. Pretty easy to use. If I'm doing a truck camp setup, I bring a nicer pillow too, just to make things a little bit more comfortable. And also back there, I do have a larger self-inflating sleeping pad as well, because multiple days, if you slept on the ground for multiple days, it starts wearing on you, especially if you're spending time and staying all day. It just gets, if you can get a good night's sleep, you're better off. I also like to bring 1 hiking stick, so I usually use the hiking stick from a pack out. I don't really use it besides that. And then I bring a pair of camp shoes just to let my feet air out at night, get out of those boots. And these are just some Walmart knockoff Crocs. Besides that, I always have a cooler, so I have a 65 quart, which I can bring anything I want to keep cold, beer, some other drinks, and like my summer sausages and things like that. And also I can put a whole quarter deer in that 65 liter. I need to get a bigger cooler. I just haven't gotten around to it. And then I keep all my clothes in a tote year round. I use the little what's it called, dry earth scent wafers in there, just to kind of keep any like foreign smells out if I can. It's almost impossible for me to stay scent free in the mountains that I hunt, because I'm always going to be sweating. Doesn't matter the temperature, I'm going to sweat at some point, if you're hiking 2 to 5 plus miles. But in this setup right now, I have all the layering gear to take me from 70 degrees to below 0. I have everything I need here, a mixture of different layering systems, and I usually probably won't wear but 1 pair of pants for the whole week, and I'll bring 2 pairs of underwear, 2 pairs of socks, and I can get by with that for a week to 10-day hunt. And also I'll bring my bag and my pack. I always hunt with a pack, so I have the Kafar Striker here, which I've added a few items to it this year. Well, this is the first year I've hunted with it, but since I started using it, I've added a few items just for the winter season. I was getting by with the space of the primary bag, but really just separation and organization, I wanted to add some more bags. So I bought I believe this is the guide lid. What I like about the guide lid is I can pop it off my primary pack, and it has some webbing straps that I can actually use this little guide lid pack, or guide lid, as a small day pack. So, for instance, if I'm hunting around home and hunting my private property, I can just use that and not have to carry my whole pack. And then on the guide lid, I just added another little accessory bag to the front of that. That way, I just keep all the stuff I'm getting to, like my toboggan, neck gaiter, gloves and stuff, like keep all those little things easy there to get to. And other items like a heavier layer I'll put in this guide lid, along with some, little things I want to get to, maybe, grunt call instead of like rattling horns, something like that. We'll be probably doing some rattling while we're in Ohio. And then, I did outfit the pack this year too with a Nalgene holder, which I really like that. I normally carry a hydration bladder, but I have a tendency of those things, if I leave them in the truck overnight when it's cold, that hydration bladder can freeze up, and I can have an easier time keeping the Nalgene, and it's keeping it from freezing. So pretty simple setup. Try to be as minimalist as possible. I don't want to pack stuff up, but yeah, if you have any questions, shoot us a message. Throughout this week, I will go into a little bit more detail on my layering systems and what I'm wearing on some of these backcountry hunts, because I do get multiple messages about what I like to use, and it'd be a good time to address those. But follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube at Timber Ninja Outdoors, and if you have any questions, just reach out to us. We're quick to respond. Thank you.